to infinity and beyond!
Good day, everyone, and welcome back to TMac FPV, your home for your journey to better FPV fun, flights, and racing stuff. As our little Space Ranger friend from Star Command mentioned earlier, today we're going to infinity and beyond by building our very own do-it-yourself FPV infinity tunnel, which you can use to shoot its gaps with your own micro FPV quad for an amazing, out-of-this-world FPV flying experience. In addition to going through the step-by-step process, we'll be providing you with some detailed diagrams, as well as a parts list and the links to all the parts and supplies that we used in the video description below. And we'll conclude with our own fantastic flight through our freshly built FPV Infinity Tunnel. Before we get started, if you like these types of tutorial videos, or if you're just interested in a journey to better FPV fun, consider subscribing to the TMac FPV channel. Take a moment and click on the red rectangular subscribe button below this video, or click on the lucky 4-leaf quadcopter in the bottom right of this screen, or at the end of the video. If you like what you see in this video, give it a thumbs up by clicking on the thumbs up button below. As always, if you have any remarks or questions, put them in the comments section below. We'll make sure and get back to you as soon as we can. Let's do this! To infinity and beyond! Okay, these are all the tools and supplies that we've used to make our infinity whoop tunnel, or what I like to call our wormhole. I'll make sure and include the links to all of the supplies we've used in the video description below for your convenience. First, we have an 8-foot long piece of plywood, 1 3/4 inches wide, and it's 5/8 inch thick. We're going to use JB Weld clear weld, some wood screws, drill bits, foil tape, tape measure, LED lights, drill, and some Velcro. The mirrors we used, we procured at our local Walmart. They're 4 feet long, and when you gently remove the frame by bending it, this is what you're left with. And the mirror itself is 30.4 centimeters wide, which is also the length of the inside portion of each of the pieces that we're going to cut, and the outside portion of each of the pieces we're going to cut is going to be 35.5 centimeters long, because we're making a 60-degree angle. So the outside length is going to be greater than the inside length. We're going to cut this 8-foot long piece of wood into 6 pieces for each of our hexagons. We're going to make 3 hexagon frames, 1 for each end of the tunnel and 1 for the middle of the tunnel, as reinforcement to hold the weight of the 6 mirrors that are going to go inside of it.
I guess the first question we need to answer is, why did we choose to build a hexagon infinity tunnel when we could have built a triangular one, a square one, or one that has pentagon sides and openings? And the simple answer is, it's just a bigger area to fly through. It's easier to fly through than any of these. Of course, if you wanted to save some material, you'd only need to get, for a triangle, three mirrors. Square would take 4, and a pentagon would take 5. We chose to make a 6-sided hexagonal infinity tunnel simply because it's a bigger area to fly through. And if you look at the multi-GP gate specifications for 2018, it's a lot closer, 2401 square centimeters, to the tiny whoop gate opening of 2329 square centimeters than any of these other ones. So how did we come up with the 30.4 centimeters that we're using for the length of our hexagon wood pieces? And the answer to that is, and we mentioned this earlier, when you remove the wood frame from around the mirror, then what you're left with is a mirror width of 30.4 centimeters, as depicted here. So that 30.4 centimeter width mirror has got to fit inside our hexagon, and as mentioned, that will be the inside width. The outside width is going to be longer because we're cutting the hexagon angles at 60 degrees. These are the dimensions that we're going to be using to cut our wood pieces from that 8-foot long piece of wood. We're going to measure off 35.5 centimeters in length, and then we're going to make a 60-degree cut. and we're going to do that 6 times for each hexagonal wood frame, and we're making 3 of these, 1 for each end and 1 in the middle. And this is the basic 10-step build process that we're going to be using. First of all, we're going to cut our pieces of wood to form our 3 hexagon frames. Then we're going to assemble those pieces of wood with glue, foil tape, and wood screws. Then we're going to cut and install 3 4-foot long runners or ribs lengthwise along the 3 hex frames that will provide support for all 3 hex frames as well as the mirrors. Then we're going to take the mirror frames off of the mirrors and also trim the backing paper from the mirrors themselves. We're going to cut strips of Velcro and tape to the wooden hexagon frames, ends of mirrors widthwise and the middle of mirrors widthwise, making the proper measurements first. And then we're going to carefully insert each mirror inside the wooden frame and secure them with Velcro strips and or glue. And the glue I use is JB Weld Clear Weld or welder adhesive. And we're going to put those onto each internal hexagon sides. Then we're going to secure the proper length of LED strips around and on each end of the mirror tunnel. On the mirrors themselves, we're going to affix the LED strips on the mirrors themselves. Then it's just a matter of lighting up the FPV infinity tunnel because it's fly time. Based on the width of our mirror, we know we want this inside dimension to be 30.4, and we know we want this outside dimension to be 35.5 centimeters. So I've already cut one 60-degree angle, so I'm going to measure 35.5 centimeters from this edge along the outside to where I want to make the next cut. Let's go ahead and do that now. So we're going to measure 35.5 along the outside here, 35.5 centimeters. So we are at 35.5, and we make a mark right there. That's where we want the blade of our saw to enter in at, because it's going to come back over here to 34 or 30.4 centimeters. So I'm going to use this miter box. This miter box and saw is a kit. It's actually a very good quality miter box and saw. It's one of the only ones, if not the only one I could find that has a 60-degree angle to cut with. The link for this miter box and saw is in the video description below. Got it from HomeDepot.com online. They shipped it for free. It got here in one day. It was like 27 bucks. So it's a good deal. Link is below if you're interested. So we're going to set this at 60 degrees. Raise this up. Slide this in. Whoops. Need to put it the other 60 degrees. But you see how easy it is to change. We make sure that the saw is going to enter at our mark of 35.5 centimeters from the other end. So it's right there. Then we move these pegs, lock it in place on both sides, and then we just go ahead and make the cut. And there we have one side of our hexagon, and we do this 6 times for each hexagon, obviously, and then we glue the pieces together, form a hexagon frame, and we make 3 of them. Okay, now that we've cut our pieces for the hexagon frame, the next step we're going to do is glue them using JB Weld Clear Weld. We're going to glue the ends together, and then after that we're going to drill a hole through the connected pieces and insert a 1.5 inch wood screw through there. But the first step is to go ahead and glue these each of the corners together. So let's go ahead and get started on that. Just need a little bit. Mix this up together. And what I want to do is coat it. some on the other piece here too. Since I don't have a clamp, I'm having to use this tape to keep them together. And this stuff says it's a quick setting epoxy, 5 minutes. It sets in 5 minutes, cures in 1 hour. I'm actually going to let it set for a good long while. Okay, now that we've glued some of the corner pieces together, I let it dry overnight. They're pretty solid, but because it's going to be bearing the weight of mirrors, 4-foot long mirrors, we're going to reinforce each of the joints by inserting a wood screw into each joint. And the wood screws that I'll be using, because I want the wood screw to go in far enough to secure the joint, I'll be using 1.5 inch long number 8 wood screws. And the holes I'll be drilling, I'll be using a 3/32 inch drill bit to drill the holes for my number 8 wood screws. Nice, solid. That's going to hold the mirror fine. We'll do that for each of our corners for each frame. Okay, and this is what our finished wood hexagon frame looks like after we've glued it together and used the foil tape just as a mechanism to hold the pieces together while the glue dried, but it also provides some reinforcement. And then what we did was inserted 1 wood screw at each of the corners, and that really makes it sturdy. It's not going anywhere. And then what we've done is we've taken and cut strips of Velcro as thick as this and as wide as the interior here, which is 30.4 centimeters. And we're gonna lay the Velcro down on the inside of here. Here's one that I've finished, 1 strip of the Velcro that I've finished here. And the mirror is going to be laying down like this. And then we cut 3 4-foot long runners, or ribs if you will, and laid them on top of 3 different sides of the hexagons, drilled holes through them into the hexagon frames, and attached them using wood screws to complete our infinity tunnel frame. So this is one of our mirrors, and this is how we just peel off the frame from it. Grip it in the back, the top of the back, put some leverage on the top. And then these just peel right off. Like that. Flip it over. Do the same thing. Then you do the same thing up top here. And this just peels right off as well. And continue to do that for all the 6 mirrors. And then you trim the paper backing from around the mirror's edges, and also remove a couple strips from each of the mirror's ends and 1 in the middle, which is where the 3 pieces of Velcro are going to be attached to the back of the mirror. And the next step is just to insert each of the mirrors inside the wooden frame and secure them down with Velcro strips and or glue. And I've actually used both to do that. It turns out the Velcro strips are not sufficient to hold the weight of the mirrors themselves. So before I've put the mirrors Velcro to Velcro in the frame, I've actually put a little bit of the JB Weld glue on each of the pieces of the Velcro strips and a couple dabs along the edges of the mirrors and the ends of the mirrors to help it secure to the wooden frames. Then I've placed one mirror on one of the sides of the hexagons inside the wooden frames, let that dry, and then place another mirror right alongside that first mirror that I initially secured into the frame, and do the same process with that. Then place another mirror on the other side of that first mirror which was placed and secured into the frame. So what you've actually got after you've placed 3 mirrors is one in the middle and one on either side, creating somewhat of a bowl type effect. You want to make sure that you've glued the edges of the mirrors to the frame as well as to each other. And the glue I used to secure the mirrors to themselves along the seams was the welder adhesive, and the link for that product is in the video description below. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is actually attach the LED strips to the mirrors inside of our wooden frame and our infinity tunnel. The LED lights which I'll be using come in a pack of 2 rolls. Each roll is 5 meters long, so you get 10 meters of LED lights, a 12-volt power supply, and a remote control, which allows you to change the colors of the lights to 20 different colors, whichever one you want. And it also has 6 different modes. The link for this product is going to be in the video description below, as with all the other ones. It allows you to jump between 3 different colors, jump between 7 different colors, which is what I've got it on now. You can fade between 3, so it doesn't jump, it just fades in and out. You can fade between 7 different colors. Let's try flash. I don't know what flash does. Oh, it goes on and off. I think I don't like that for FPV flying through the infinity tunnel. I believe I like jumping between colors instead of fading or flashing. There's also an auto key which runs through all of the modes. The jump mode, the fade mode, and the flash mode, and it does it randomly apparently. So it's going fading, and then it'll start flashing here soon, I believe. And there we have it. So the auto mode goes between jumping between colors, to fading between colors, to flashing between colors. I don't like that one either. It also allows you to adjust the timing of the flashing or the jumping by going quick or slow. So I'm going to jump between 7 different colors, and I'm going to try and slow it down a little bit. And that's what I like, jumping between 7 different colors. That way the lights are always on in some color when we're flying. That's a good thing. Okay, I know where I want the infinity tunnel to go. It's going to go outside underneath our porch, and I know the distance I need from my outlet plug to the infinity tunnel. I've gone ahead and extended the actual cord from the LED lights to the power supply just by cutting the wires, stripping them, tinning them, and soldering extension wires from the LED lights to the actual power supply. And then what I'm going to do before I place the LED strips on, I'm going to staple this on here. Hey, that worked. Then after we installed the LED lights on each end of the infinity tunnel, we had lots left over, so I decided to run the LED lights along the outside. I used the staple gun to staple them to the hexagon frames and the wooden ribs of the frames, so that we've got LED lights on the outside as well as the infinity look inside. It's fly time!